Hi everyone, how are you all doing? My name is Natalie. If this is the first time that you're watching my videos, thank you for being here. I hope that if you enjoy what I do and share on this channel, you can subscribe and share it with your friends. Your support means everything on this channel and it will help to grow this community. This video, we are talking about this upcoming week astrology forecast and we'll end the video with a collective message. And I apologize, this right now that I'm recording and uploading is Tuesday of this week of March 31st to April 6th of 2025. The last week we had our last and final solar eclipse in the Libra Aries axis that we have been experiencing for the past couple of years. And I was trying to just juggle between being a student, working, and my client, and everything else that is happening in my personal world. I like all of you, I move through these astrological transit and energies with you, and it did manifest personally for me, so I've just been juggling through a lot, so trying to catch up with everything, and that is why I am uploading this week's video a little late. And thank God we're not missing much, because mainly the astrology transit aspect that is happening this week is later in the week. But before we start, just a quick announcement, because I'm catching up with everything. I'm delaying my giveaway deadline to this Friday, April 4th, that I'm hosting over on my Instagram. So if you haven't, please go over Instagram and follow me there. So I'm doing a free astrology reading giveaway on my IG in order to celebrate a new astrological year's Aries season, and also simply because we are moving through a lot of astrological transit, especially this year. This is the year that is just filled with astrology energy shifts, so I just want to do that to give back, and as a little thank you to all of you that has been supporting me along this way. This is something that I want to give back, so do check it out. I pinned that giveaway video on my IG. All you have to do is follow me over there, like that post, and tag a friend. And I'll pick 3 winners, and both of you, meaning 6 winners, will be able to get my most request offering, which is a 30 minutes astrology reading session with me, where you can ask about anything you're moving through or anything regarding in any area of your life, and through looking at the current transit and your natal chart, we'll talk about how we can move through, maybe answer some questions, giving you some clarity, solution remedies to move through whatever you've been asking. So if you are interested, do go to the description box below, click that Instagram link, and go over to check out the video and caption for all the details. So right now, let's go back to the main point of this video. On April 4th, Friday, we have a cluster of aspects that is happening that talk to each other and relate to each other, which is Saturn in Pisces and Mars in Cancer. They are both sextiling Uranus in Taurus. So both Saturn in Pisces and Mars in Cancer are sharing this sextile with Uranus in Taurus. At the same time, we also have Mars in Cancer trine Saturn in Pisces. So basically, Mars in Cancer, Saturn in Pisces, Uranus in Taurus, they're all aspecting each other, talking to each other. And both of them are sextiles and trine, so they are helpful and supportive to help us move through something in our life, according to how it aspects your own natal chart, of course. But putting them all together, the combination of all these aspects together is really basically feel like there might be a realization from Uranus and Taurus, maybe a message, an aha moment, or you're just re-evaluating, reflecting, because we are in Venus and Mercury retrograde, so many of us are reflecting on things, different areas of our life, our belief system and values, and relationships, all kinds, romantic, platonic, work, or whatever it is, family dynamic, because that is all what Mercury and Venus retrograde is inviting us to reflect on. So perhaps in your Mercury and Venus retrograde journey, you're picking up something, you're realizing something, you're reflecting on things, and you have this aha moment or realization that perhaps some structure in your life that is supporting you, certain area in your life, or certain relationships in your life, is no longer really supporting you, no longer aligning with you, or perhaps they're even collapsing because they're outdated, they are not serving you any good, Saturn, right? And there needs to be a replacement, or perhaps you need to rebuild or break it down and build this new belief system, patterns, a way of thinking that truly support the current version of you. Because over time, sometimes this happens within us, and sometimes it's because of what is happening, what we are experiencing together as a collective. It changes and shifts the way we think, the way we see certain things, patterns, structures in our life or externally, or sometimes it affects our value system. And that is why we will change over the course of life. And it's allowing us to realize the need of change. Maybe this is about you taking action, taking a risk even to make a change. And that is the Mars in Cancer. And on a personal level, this can be maybe you are reevaluating certain relationships or an area of your life or multiple areas of your life, and perhaps you finally realizing that something is just not really clicking and working anymore, and it's time to really make some changes and maybe shake it up a little or change it up. And with Mars in Cancer, for some of us, it can be about our families, our family dynamics, within our home situation, within our family members, or our chosen family, or the one that we are creating, right? There's something that's just maybe not working, that you need to move it and change it, or letting it go even, right? Depending on what kind of human story you're moving through. This can also happen with Saturn and Uranus and Mars as well. This combination can also mean that finally you are seeing things for what they are. You are seeing the truth. Right, okay, it's not working. It's really not supporting me, or it's really not doing me any good. It's time to draw that boundary. It's time to take an action, or it is time to move away and walk away from this person or this situation or this habit or the structure that is really not supporting me, that is not doing me any good, right? So all these aspects together can mean that as well. And of course, this can happen on a personal level, but of course also on a collective level, because we are talking about Uranus, Saturn. They are all outer planet. So when outer planet are talking to each other, aspecting like that, this is also about things that we experience all together on a collective level. And with all this aspect together, and also with my greatest hope, I hope that this week with all this aspect, people are going to, not all, okay, and I'm only speaking for myself. I hope that some people who are still in silence, for whatever reason, right? I'm not judging here at all. I'm not perfect. I'm also continuously learning and educating myself as much as possible, which is still not perfect, but I'm trying to do whatever I can to allow myself to be aware of what is really happening around the world. And maybe for some people who are still not speaking up, taking any kind of action because of whatever reason, right? Because it can be a range of reason why people are not speaking about it or taking any kind of action, or even just being aware of what is happening around the world, right, about the genocide. And I hope these aspects will help them realize that, well, you know, it's not happening within where I live doesn't mean that it doesn't affect us, and it doesn't mean that I can't do anything about it, because we're all connected, and we're all complicit in certain degree. Different degree is a spectrum of how much we are directly involved, and it's really asking us not to look away anymore. And also there's a various degrees of things that we can do, right? We can simply educate ourselves, teach ourselves more about what is really happening. And in this situation with the genocide, there's no middle ground. There's no it's very clear, and you not speaking up or taking any kind of action, and maybe this is about the fear or guilt, and I hope you don't feel that way and don't allow that to rob you away from speaking now, taking action now, because I was once there, and I feel like it doesn't matter when, right? I feel like, especially with the ceasefire being broken by Israel, we cannot not do anything anymore. Everyone needs to do something. Doing something is better than doing nothing at all. Because if you're not doing anything, if you're not speaking up, if you're just bypassing and you're just telling everyone that you are in privilege and you're being complicit. And also, don't let the guilt and fear to rob you from that, because speaking up and standing up, taking action about the genocide shouldn't be a subject of controversy. So I hope that these aspects can also encourage all of us to start be more brave, right? And know that together we can really start creating the change and bring in that change. This is all the astrology that is really happening, that is inviting us to do so, with all this major transit that is happening, all this outer planet shifting. We are really creating a new world. We are really calling in that new structure that is for our highest good, for the collective. We can all be part of this change and revolution if we can just work together. So that is my little spirit. Sorry for going off a tangent, but I am also just saying what I see from the astrology from different aspects, individually and collectively. April 6th, we have the Sun in Aries having a sextile with Jupiter in Gemini. So this is again a very supportive aspect again. So today, with the sextile between Sun in Aries and Jupiter in Gemini, it feels like a confident boost. It feels like that the aspect is really giving you that oomph, that little push of confidence in order for you to speak your voice, to share your voice. And Jupiter in Gemini, this can be you expressing, you sharing your knowledge, you educating others, you express something, trying to send out some kind of message by sharing your knowledge, what your wisdom perhaps, this can be you having the confidence to educate others, like I said, right? And with Jupiter in Gemini, this can be about some spiritual belief or learning that you have. This can also be, Sun in Aries. This can you speaking up about what you believe in, what you want to fight for, and what you support, and all those good stuff. So if that is what you've been looking for, a time to really speak up and make a stand and do that, this is the day to do so. And maybe perhaps in some of your life, you are wanting to make a pitch to your boss, you are wanting to like make a stand in the community, to contribute in some way, shape or form, this is the day to do so, making a presentation. But also at the same time, sometimes this aspect with the Sun in Aries and Jupiter in Gemini, this can be a moment of expanding a little bit too much. So if we are not using this energy correctly, which like I said, all aspect energy, they have the light and shadow attribute. So the shadow attribute can be that, you know, you are overconfident to the point you might be having a self-inflating ego, you know, saying like a you know it all, that type of things. So do be mindful with the energy as well on that day. On the same day, we have Venus retrograde in Pisces sharing a trine with Mars in Cancer. Oh my god, I just suddenly have this feeling of Mars is still in Cancer. Oh my freaking god, Mars is still in Cancer. When are you gonna live? Seriously. Because of Mars retrograde, we have Mars in Cancer since September last year. Okay, we're now in the beginning of April already, so that is how many months? Like 8 months. That is what happened when you have a Mars retrograde. It's just like relentless. It's just always there. And because Mars do have you know, their peaks, Mars in Cancer is just ugh. Yeah, so sorry, went off a little tangent again, but seriously, I cannot wait the day Mars leave Cancer. I'm so done with this transit. Anyway, so Mars trine Venus in a nutshell can be a very beautiful day, can be a romantic day, you know, if you are dating, if you are coupled up, this can be a beautiful aspect, you know, having a day to just enjoy each other's company, do something fun, have a great time. But Venus is in retrograde, right? So for some, this is really you trying to reflect on your relationships, all kinds of relationships, right? Not just romantic, but all kinds of one-on-one relationships. And trining Mars in Cancer, this can be you taking action from an emotional perspective. Mars in Cancer, right? You are taking action based on how you feel, and with Venus retrograde in the mix, this can be you evaluating certain relationships, you know, that is draining you or not, that is sharing the same value with you or not, and so on and so forth. And with Mars in Cancer, you are taking action based on maybe how emotionally supported you feel in certain relationship, whether it's a friend, family member, co-worker, or your romantic partner, so on and so forth, right? So this is also the second time we have this is like the because of Venus retrograde. Maybe you are working through the last and final, and maybe Venus you are re-evaluating certain relationships in your life. And maybe Venus day this week, which is you are really thinking it's not the time to act yet because Venus is in retrograde. Or maybe you are having some conversations to see if the two of you can resolve it, to mend the relationship, or it is time to really address the issue so that you can either work on it or part ways, or you are realizing what is not aligning with you and you're taking the action to move away from it, you know, to draw the boundaries and so on and so forth, depending on your human story you're moving through. But like I said, energy goes both ways, and there's shadow and light attribute. Mars in Cancer, and I am not trying to throw shade on all Mars in Cancer people, okay? So don't shoot me. But Mars in Cancer, when not used correctly, when not channeled correctly, Mars in Cancer can be very toxic, very manipulative, emotionally manipulative and passive aggressive. And I can have the right to say that because I've dealt with people with Mars in Cancer. So it can be, right? And I'm not saying all people with Mars in Cancer. It's just when you cannot channel that energy in the best way, it can be very toxic and manipulative, and you have this feeling of, so what do you really mean? So what are we really doing? Like, how do you really feel, and where we stand, where do I stand in this relationship? Like, what is happening, So with this being the second aspect in the Venus retrograde, this can also be a time where you are, you know what, all these are really triggering, and all these are really making me think twice now. I need to reevaluate this relationship, and I should have, I wish we solve it or meant it. I wish you said that or I did that, so how are we going to move through this now? How do I feel about it, and how do I want to move forward with or without this relationship? So some of you might be doing this as well. So as always, depend on how this aspect is showing up for you and what you're moving through with this Venus retrograde journeys. Everybody can feel it slightly different, but that is all the possibility that it can play out. So now let's take a look at our collective message. From the tarot, two major arcana show up. We have the Death, we have Five of Swords, and then we have Gemini. Very interesting, because we did have aspect happening with Gemini, and kind of like we have been talking about making choices, making change, right? So this is really on point. I feel like this week, with all the aspect that I've just talked about, some of us are really realizing that certain structure, certain relationship or situation is just really not serving you and aligning with you in terms of the value system, in terms of what you both believe in, or like, what, I used to love this brand and I love buying their coffee, like I love buying their coffee beans and I love going to the cafes, but you know what, I don't want to give my energy to that brand anymore, because this brand is not aligning, this brand's value is not aligning with mine, and I am going to make the choice to draw my boundaries, because guess what, money is energy, and I want to protect my energy and want to make sure that I am spending my energy in things that truly support me and reflect on my values that align with me. So I am making the choice to walk away, to reevaluate what I truly believe, and if they align me or not, to make a choice that resonates with me. So I'm deciding to walk away from this brand. That's just an example. Or vice versa, you are discovering a new brand that you love because they are also sharing the beliefs, the value that you resonate with, and you want to give them your money because you want to support them, you want to align with them, and they align with you. So you are making a conscious choice that is beneficial for yourself, right? So this can be that as well. And for some, maybe this is regarding to relationship, maybe this is regarding to belief system. Like I said, this can be about anything that you're moving through, but that is the energy message, right? And from the Moonology deck, we have first quarter moon in Gemini. Speak your world into being. We are talking about speaking. We're talking about Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, what's been doing, and this week astrology is supporting we can really speak our world into being. We can really use our words. Our words are so powerful. It can really build someone up or shoot someone down. It can really have the power to change things, change relationship, change everything, right? Depending on how you want to use it. So speak to the world in a way that you want to see it, right? Speak in a way that you want people to show up for you, or how you want to show up for the world, for all the relationships in your life, right? Full moon in Cancer. Oh my God, Cancer. Let your fears dissolve. What did I just say? I said something about not letting your fear to stop you from taking actions, right? Something like that, whatever. Mars in Cancer, right? All of these aspects, I just talked about that cluster of aspect that is related to Mars in Cancer, Saturn in Pisces, and Uranus in Taurus, right? Let your fear dissolve to stop you from taking the action or risk that you want, to draw that boundary, to walk away things that don't serve you, or whatever that is, right? Wow. I love it when the card shows up and align with what I just said with the astrology. Lastly, our oracle card, To the Sea. Interesting how we have both Mercury and Venus retrograding back from Aries into Pisces, which is a water sign, which is the sea of our consciousness. So now that all these energy are going back into Pisces, it's really asking us to flow with it. Flow with what Venus and Mercury retrograde is trying to send messages to you. What messages are they trying to send you? Which area of your life are you being invited to use your intuition, to let them guide you to make the changes that you need to make, to reevaluate certain belief system or values that you have? What is still supporting or not supporting you? Who is aligning with your values